Have you ever wondered what are the most used formations and the most effective in terms of points per match of the top 20 managers in Soccerverse, or even the top one? What are the strategies, the mentalities and the performance of the top manager of Soccerverse? In this video I will show you some data analysis I've done using all the seasons, so 3 seasons data from the blockchain, and I basically followed the top 20 managers, all-time top 20 managers so far, and I analyzed their performance and their strategies and their tactics. Before delving into the data analysis, I'll always, like always, do a little bit of roundup of Soccerverse, but stick until the end, because after the roundabout, just to see how it's going in Soccerverse, this is pure alpha, guys. You don't want to miss it if you're managing or if you're a shareholder, because at the end of the video there is also one important slide that will highlight the future potential of fully on-chain game like Soccerverse in terms of intelligence mining. Yes, guys, stick until the end and let's go. Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Nika, talk about Xaya. I play Xaya, especially Soccerverse, because we're about to explode Soccerverse, guys. Be patient. There is a huge update very soon coming, so be patient. You've been patient for 2 years, now we're at the end part of the journey, so I'm so excited, guys. Very excited. It's already good and it's going to be better, so oh my god. It's like when you finish your pizza and another one, and your girlfriend says, oh, you know what, I cannot finish my pizza, do you want to help me? Of course, you know, the situation went very good to even better because you eat more pizza. Makes sense, right? Alright. So this is a data analysis video. It's very insightful, packed with alpha, things that you might not ever get to know unless you know how to extract the information from the blockchain, actually from the RPC. GSP, game state processor, using RPC, JSON request, and Python. Everything I do is in Python. But before getting into the very insightful data, let's have like a 3 minutes league table overview of the top, and you know, very quick. It's not a real recap, it's just let's see what's going on in Soccerverse before delving into the data. Yes, I like data, I'm a geek. Let's go. So let's start with league tables, of course, and we start from League 1, the big boss league. As you can see, oh, Boris is not first anymore, so there is a good thing. Variability of the game not very good for the Boris that is not first anymore. Fake name took the first place with Manchester City. It reminds me of season 1 when Manolito 10, now the best manager in Soccerverse ever, used to manage Manchester City and just dominated the game, guys. Really dominated the game. And then Barcelona Libertarian, congratulations, big boss, you're scaling up, you're ranking up, actually. Congratulations. You're only 5 points away from the top. This is a very nice. I think it's as high as Libertarian has ever arrived. Correct me, I know you're following this video. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this might be the first time you're in the top 3, if I'm not mistaken, since season 2. Then Leicester City, also another one coming up very well. Real Sociedad, etc. Chelsea down, and Manolito 10 number 8, average. That's okay for Manolito 10 that just came up from season 2 with his Ajax. Is doing pretty well, to be honest, with Ajax in League 1. And what else we can say? Milan is down, Liverpool, Flamengo, Athletic Club, Wolverhampton Wanderers by Grimsor, and Internazionale by Parsifal, all in relegation zone. Not good, but still much time to go up, to get out from the relegation zone. Now let's have a look at League 2A, of course. Why? Because I have to pump my... I'm so good, guys. I don't know what's going on. Look at that. Look at this beautiful chart. Look at who's the top in League 2A. Napoli is not dominating. I'm not dominating, but look at that. 60 points, all green. Napoli, managed by someone called Nix. I think it's me. Of course it's me. And followed by Arsenal, the crypto pop, that is also extremely efficient and doing a very good season, just as good as mine, unfortunately for me, because after me and him there is like a 9 points buffer between the two promoting positions, so first and second position, and Leeds United by Australia United, which I think is Harris. So congratulations Harris for being in third position. And then TKB in Monaco, Benfica, Costa, and PSV, El Tuco, Serrao with Sampdoria. My next opponent is Serrao 10 with Sampdoria. All green. Look at that, the last active. We are all active in League 2A. Most of us were active in League 2A, so this is a very nice situation to be in. Juventus by Reza Taghi, also active. Reza is out. Okay, good news. Reza is not completely out from relegation zone, as you can see, 19 to 19 points, all 19 here. Okay, not totally out, but Reza, focus. You have to get out and stay out. Now you're out for the goal difference. Try to gain points, my friend. And then let's have a look at League 2B. League 2B. Here we go. League 2B. Yes. Now I don't know why it shows 3B, but it's definitely League 2B. League 2B. Let's have a look at Harris. That's even better than League 2A. Look at that, 67 points, all green. Manchester United is crushing it after the big revolution that Manchester United, well, Harris did for Manchester United, since he took Manchester United early in this season 3, actually between season 2 and season 3. Harris took it from the ashes, because very bad situation happened when all the best soccer players went away for free because the previous manager didn't renew the contract. If you're interested in seeing what Harris did for Manchester United and how he was able to bring him from ashes, from the bottom to the stars, like Drake says, starting from the bottom now, hey, something like that. I'll link you the video here, the video somewhere around here. I made a video specifically on the Manchester United revolution and the Juventus unfortunately debacle. Anyway, Manchester United, Harris is dominating, 67 points, followed by Lucas 70. I was about to say it in Italian, Lucas 70. Atletico Panamense 64 points, and then boom, 7 points below we find Fiorentina by World Soccerverse. New names. I don't know, World Soccerverse, the first time that I read the World Soccerverse. That's great. New names, I think. People is coming in. That's very nice for Soccerverse, I think. And then Zenit San Pietroburgo, Olympiacos, Torino, Roma, etc. Let's go down in relegation. Let's see how it's going. Boca Juniors. See, this is good. People that don't play, red, are relegating. Non-active managers are relegating. This is good. Anyway, Nice relegating. Stade Rennais relegating. So 2 French teams. Sassuolo by Managers Elite relegating, unfortunately, because Sassuolo used to be very strong. I think he played in season 1, he played in League 1, Sassuolo, and it was very good. And then Boca Juniors. Okay. I think that's it, guys. That's it. Just wanted to have a very quick look on League 1 and League 2, A and B. So now let's delve into the presentation that I prepared for you with the secret formation and tactics and data analysis of the top 20 Soccerverse managers ever. And specifically, we'll also look at Manolito 10, because he is the top one. If you want to see who are the top managers, normally you go to Game Award and see in this tab, best manager, you look at here. But now there is a bug. This bug is on purpose not being fixed because they are working very hard on the new version of Soccerverse. So this is a small bug, but I don't want to spend time and waste time in this small visualization bug because it's just a visualization. They're concentrating on the next release. But I extracted this information for you and I'll show you right now. Let's go. Here we go. So this is a small presentation that I prepared so that you don't have to look all the code that I created, because all of this analysis I did it in Python, is all automated, but it's a lot of code, so I didn't want to waste your eyes in weird matrix developer developer. I'm not a developer, I'm a coder, I'm a scripter, by the way, but you know, all of this stuff, it's bad. So this is a presentation. So you see the images and the plots and the tables. It's all about data. Don't run away. I know you like very good visualization things that people that are paid to do them, they do, but I don't have time for very fancy visualizations, so I provide you the juice, the raw data, the table, and a few heat maps, of course, that are very insightful in terms of managing Soccerverse. And after all of this, at the end, there is one very important slide where I'll open your eyes, because after this presentation, you all understand the potential of Soccerverse being open source, being fully on chain, being endless. It will never end. People can build on this. People can also make money building analytics softwares that will help managers and shareholders. Guys, this is huge. Let's stick to the analysis now, and then we'll talk about this. Okay, let's go. First thing, question to answers. What we're gonna answer: what formations are mostly used overall? Remember, this data comes from following the top 20 managers since their very first match in season 1 or season 2, whenever they started, up until the last match. So I followed all these managers individually and recorded all their tactics, formations, mentality used, and I'll also look at how many goals they did for every single match, how many goals they got, so they took from every single match against other opponents. All of this details, a lot of data distilled into this analysis. What formation are mostly used overall? What favorite formations versus formations? You'll see this. The results per formation in terms of points. Also, the ratio of goals scored versus goals taken, depending on the formation used, so per formation. Same also goals scored, the ratio between the goals scored and the goals taken per mentality used. And also the shots on target and goals ratio, so the ratio between the shots, how many shots on target people need in order to score a goal, depending on the formation used. So this is very important, and also other information that you will see. So before starting, I want to really thank you guys for the support in Discord, because I put a poll in Discord and a few people answered me. I just asked what kind of data analytics would you like to know and see and have done for this kind of video. And Manolito 10, thank you so much. Serrao 10, Tiki, Ciaranio, thank you so much. Libertaire and Cash Deep Vault 1985, something. I hope I pronounce your username well. Thank you guys, thank you so much for this, and just keep on following me, keep on supporting. We'll do other videos, so thank you. Okay, let's start with the analysis. First, who are the all-time top 20 managers? Again, if you go in Soccerverse now, there is that little visualization bug, but the information is all in the blockchain. You can get it, so I got it. And here we go. This is on the left is the table with the manager names, the best managers so far since Soccerverse started. You can see the rank, the points accumulated in terms of match points. So if a manager win, gets 3 points. If a manager drew, gets 1 point. If a manager loses, gets 0. So I just summed all of these points across their managing history to get the top 20. And here we go. You can see Manolito 10 is still number 1 with 278 points, managing Ajax in League 1. By the way, it's very important to see that most of the top 20 managers, with me, included me, as you can see, one on the bottom, 191 points. Just as much as Snailbrain, by the way, but Snailbrain, we are as good. All of the top 20 managers are active in the last 5 or 6 days, so this is good. 13 out of 20 managers have been active within the last 5 or 6 days. This is very good. It means that you have to be active in order to win. Also important to note is Manolito 10 is number 1, yes, but look at the margin. Number 1 by a lot. He has the largest margin in terms of points that you can see in this table. So there is no other 30 points gap between two positions. If you find it, let me know, because I don't see it. So Manolito 10 is winning by a lot. not just by a little bit, just by a lot. We can also note how managing in higher leagues is, I mean, the best managers are managing mostly in the higher leagues, like League 1. We find 5 managers in the top 20 that are managing in League 1, 3 in League 2A, 2 in League 2B, and then so on and so forth. This is not only, it doesn't only reflect the best manager in best league as of yet, because we are in the beta testing. It's just because people, since the start, they want to manage higher leagues, you know, the best teams, because they are most famous maybe, or just for the prestige of managing in the higher leagues. So these people might have started from earlier than the others, so they have more experience. They were able to choose their own team to manage because they were all free at the beginning of the beta, and that's it. And then another interesting thing, as you can see, 99 Stars is ranked number 2 at the same points as Ares, but 99 Stars doesn't have a club anymore. He just got sacked by Atletico Madrid shareholders. So 99 Stars got replaced by voting by the Atletico Madrid shareholders, and now Tiger Becker is back and is managing Atletico Madrid. So 99 Stars is second, but is not a manager anymore. Okay, so these are the names that I will use for the analysis. You will see statistics on Manolito 10 only, and statistics on the top 20 managers without Manolito 10, just to see if there are some differences between the two. Let's go. Here we go. These are the most used formations. This is a roundabout, how do you call it, like an overall overview of the most used formation in Soccerverse by Manolito 10 and by the top 20. As you can see, Manolito 10, 173 matches, he used the 4-4-2 only 3% of the times. This is very, very important, guys, because if you remember another video that I did in that analysis of Soccerverse, only season 1, I think, 4-4-2 is by far the most used a lot. Everyone uses the 4-4-2. It's very balanced, it's very common and easy to understand, the 4-4-2. So people either use 4-4-2 on purpose because it's the only one they know, maybe, or because it's a well-balanced formation, or just because it's most of the time is the default formation of clubs and they don't want to change it. But 4-4-2 by far is the most used formation. That is important. If you look at the very top super manager, doesn't use it 4-4-2. This is already a good alpha, guys. And then the other two top formations that Manolito 10 uses, sorry, not the other two, the two top formations that he uses are two extremes. As you can see, the most used formation is a 3-2-2-2-1, which is a very, very dense formation focusing on the midfield, and then the 5-4-1, again another defensive formation, more defensive than the 3-2-2-2-1, but again you put 5 defenders and 4 midfielders with only 1 striker. That means putting a huge density in the mid-back portion of the field. So that has to do something, that has to mean something. Probably it's a good strategy against the most common used 4-4-2. We'll see in the next slides. And also another important thing to see is that it's very balanced. Across all the matches that Manolito 10 did, for 66% of the times he used the top 5 formations, and the top formations are pretty varied. As you can see, 3-2-2-1, 5-4-1, 3-5-2, already more offensive, 3-5-2. 4-3-3 with wingers, so very wide, using the wide corridors on the sides, and then a 3-4-2-1. So Manolito 10 doesn't use the 4-4-2 very often, actually almost never. He likes extremes in the top 2 formations, but overall is very balanced. He uses a lot of different strategies, and it is dynamically changing the formations. Let's have a look at the top 20 now. Top 20, as you can see, the top 20 managers are using for 41% of the time the 4-4-2. It's very dominant, everyone is using it, and this is pretty much the big difference between Manolito 10 and top 20. So stop using the 4-4-2. I use it, to be honest, because it's strong and my team is doing well, but be careful. We'll see in the next slides how to beat the 4-4-2. So stick with me and we'll see it. Then another important information is 3-5-2, which is the third most used in Manolito 10, is also similarly used by the other top 20 managers. As you can see, 352 by top 20 managers 10% of the time. You will find it basically once every 10 matches. Monolith 10 is similar, 12% of the time. Very similar, very similar. And then another important thing that I noted in this table is that the 541, which remember is top 2 Monolith 10. Monolith 10 used a lot 541. The top 20 managers, they don't use it as much. As you can see, 541 and the 32221, they use it less than 3% of the time, which is 6 times less often than Monolith 10. Guys, this is alpha. This means something. If you know how to read this is very important. This is already telling you the different strategies and behavior between the super top one manager and the other good ones. So what's the difference? What does it take to be the big boss? Or just to be a good one in the top 20. I'm good, but I'm not as good as Monolith 10. Okay, so just a reminder, the numbers that you see here on the column on the left is the percentage times, the percentage of the time that that particular formation is being used by Monolith 10 or the top 20. Okay, let's go. Second, the favorite formation versus formation. This heat map shows you, in this case, how many times one formation is being used against another specific formation. So the values, the numbers in the cells are the number of times that the formation on the left, on the y-axis, so on the vertical axis on the left, as you can see in the label, it's written formation used, okay? How many times that formation is being chosen by Monolith 10 in this case to play against the formation on the bottom. For instance, we can see that the 3-2-2-2-2-1 is being chosen 13 times. As you can see, the color bar reflects the number of times. So the darkest the blue is, the most often that formation is being used, and opposite, the lightest this yellowish is, the less often the formation is being used. And by the way, where you see white, it means that it's never been used. So the more white there is in the heat map, the less variability, if you want, the manager has. I was saying, yes, 3-2-2-2-1 on the left, you can see it's been used 13 times against 4-4-2. Of course, the 4-4-2 is the formation that Monolith 10 played against most often. Of course. Why? Simply because 4-4-2 is the favorite formation of everyone. So we have more data against the 4-4-2, simply because everyone used the 4-4-2. Unfortunately, but these things will change. More leagues are coming in Soccerverse, more managers are coming in Soccerverse, the more time that passes, more fixtures and matches happen, so way more data is going to be created and potentially analyzed by people that know how to analyze it. Anyway, let's go. Interesting 4-4-2 opponent column. As you can see, if you look at the column on the bottom axis of 4-4-2, you can see that basically the favorite formation against the 4-4-2, as we already saw, is the 3-2-2-2-1, and the second favorite is the 5-4-1. So these are the top Monolith 10 formations. But also the third one, the third most used by Monolith 10 against the 4-4-2 is the 3-4-2-1, as you can see 8 times. And what does it tell you? This basically tells you that to beat the 4-4-2 you need a lot of density in the midfield. Not many strikers at all, but a lot of midfielders. In all three formations that Monolith 10 uses the most, we only find one striker. Okay, now you might saying, okay, nice, this is nice, but how many points these formations pairings created? This is only how many times they played, but how effective it was. Next plot. Okay, this is the same plot, except that's the same heat map, except that now the values are the points. So the higher the points, the higher the value, the more effective that choice was. As you can see, for instance, the 3-2-2-2-1 that was used 13 times gained 26 points, which means that it's not always winning. Yet is one of the most effective, of course. In fact, the most effective use here is still the 3-2-2-2-1, because now I'm not talking only against the 4-4-2. If you read the heat map row-wise, row by row, basically you can see that, for instance, the 3-2-2-2-1, if you sum all the points on the row, it means that you're summing all the points gained using that formation against all the other formations encountered. And in fact, the 3-2-2-2-1 gained 56 points to Manolito 10 so far. 56 points. It's just the sum row-wise of that formation. But another important thing is that, in fact, if you do this calculation, the 5-4-1 is actually better, because the 5-4-1 gained Manolito 10 57 points, even though it's been used slightly less than the 3-2-2-1. So this type of analysis is very important for everyone that wants to analyze the performance over time of specific formations against a range of other formations. Another important observation that I found is that there is no dominant least effective use, which basically means that Manolito 10 doesn't get the formation wrong too often. Even the 4-4-2, he gained 7 points. He never used it, very rare, but yet he gained 7 points. Now, another important information that this heat map can give you, if you sum now this time column wise, basically what you can get, you know what, next time I also add the totals, row wise and column wise, because it makes sense. But for now you just have to either calculate it yourself or rely on my calculations, as you can see here in the slides. So if you compute row column wise, you basically can know Manolito 10 how effective he is against a whole range of formation encountered. So not encountered, used. Basically you want to know, if you use the 4-4-2, for instance, will Manolito 10 beat you or not? In fact, yes. He gained 93 points against 4-4-2 people. Applying different strategies, different formations. As you can see how Manolito 10 formation used. Manolito 10 is also good against 4-3-3. He gained 35 points against 4-3-3. If you look at the 4-3-3 column, most of the time he beat 4-3-3s using a 3-5-2. You see 13, he gained 13 points against the 4-3-3, but also with his second favorite 5-4-1. So if you use a 4-3-3 formation, be careful, because Manolito 10 could use either the 5-4-1 or the 3-5-2 formation, and statistically is pretty likely that he will win. All of these statistics don't take into account players ratings and conditions, so it's pretty simplified, but they just work to give you an overview. And then it's also good with the against 4-5-1. Okay, another one is points per match. This is just the mean points per match. Basically, this takes into account the number of times that one combination is occurred, and also the points that Manolito 10 gained with that formation. Basically, as you can see, to beat Manolito 10, you might want to use a 3-5-2 formation. If you look at the 3-5-2 formation column, as you can see, the colors are pretty low. Manolito 10 struggles against a 3-5-2, because so far against a 3-5-2, Manolito 10 managed to gain on average 2 points using a 5-4-1, so not 3, which is by winning a lot. 0 points again using a 4-4-2, so it always lost. 4-4-1-1, only an average of 1 point. And then other points, as you can see, using 4-2-2-2 got 0, 3-5-2 got 1.5, and his favorite formation 3-2-2-2-1, on average Manolito 10 only gained 1.8 points per match. So this is one of the column that is the lowest, which means this is a weakness of Manolito 10. We can get weaknesses of people by looking at this type of data, which is very good. If you use a 4-3-3, it's pretty hard to beat Manolito 10, as you can see here if you use 4-3-3. But if you look at what is setting up as the formation before your match, and you see that he's setting up a 4-3-3 wingers, yeah, the likelihood of you winning increases. As you can see, there is only 2 points per match on average that Manolito 10 gets from 4-3-3 wingers against 4-3-3 non-wingers. Okay, now I think I have to go a little bit quicker because it's taking a lot. So I don't want to keep you here forever, so let's go a little bit quicker. Now, same big plot, but for top 20 managers without Manolito 10. What we can see, this is the favorite formation, so number of time used, not points per match, just number how many times people use the formations. So the top 20 managers use the formation against another one. As you can see, is bigger because there is more variability, more people, more choices, so more formations information. And as you can see, of course, 4-4-2 against 4-4-2 is the top found, because everyone used the 4-4-2, we know that. And unfortunately the value is not printed well in there, but if you look at the color, is above 600. It's probably around 700 and something. And this is nothing new, but you can also see that again the top 20 managers, similar to Manolito 10, if you look at the 4-4-2 columns, so they play against, when they play against 4-4-2, if you look at the columns, the higher, like the color, the darker color, which means that they used most often, the formation they use most often, are the 3-5-2, similar to Manolito 10, and these two, this is a 4-3-3 and a 5-4-1. Once again, same observation. Against the 4-4-2, the most effective formations, both in Manolito 10 and in top 20, are the high density ones in the midfield. Very interesting fact. And also, as you can see, 4-4-2 is being used a lot of times. This is going to be around probably 300, probably 200 something. A lot of time against the 4-3-3. So if you are using the 4-3-3, expect the top managers to use the 4-4-2 against you. Let's have a look at the points now. So of course we can see a technical dominance of 4-4-2. Once again, nothing new, a lot of points, simply because a lot of people use it, the 4-4-2, so more points. Actually, let's skip this, let's go straight to the points per match, which is a little bit more informative because it actually tells you on average the performance of the formation you use against the formation that your opponent used. So it's a little bit easier to understand. Here we go, let's have a look again at the 4-4-2 because it's the most important, because everyone using it. So apparently there is not much data, as you can see in the occurrences. For instance, the 4-1-2-2-1 only occurred once against the 4-4-2 and it won. So the mean points per match is very high, it's 3, because there's only one data record and it won. So be careful how you read this plot. But by looking at this plot, you see how many cells are activated. First, there is way less white than there used to be in Manolito 10. Look at that, look at the Manolito 10, here you go. You see less formations, more white, and here way more formation and less white. This is just because we are looking at 19 managers in the top 20 minus Manolito 10. And we can see that when they use the 4-4-2 formation, they are very, very effective against the 3-3-4, against the 3-4-1-2. On average, the top 20 gain 2.8 points per match. And then also this 3, look at that, the 3. Against the 5-3-2 defensive and the 5-3-2 sweeper. So here, what this plot tells you is that if you're playing against someone you expect to use a 4-4-2, don't use super defensive formations, because you're going to lose. They're going to win. This is all interesting, guys. I leave you, pause the video, take a snapshot of this plot, analyze it yourself, let me know what you can find more interesting. This is alpha that nobody has unless they're watching this video, and I hope this can help you managing your teams and understanding how the top ones do it. Let's go. Okay, now this is another important table. This is the table now. It gets a little bit less visual, but it's very important. The tables are important. Now we're talking about Manolito 10. We want to know how many goals he scored versus he took depending on the opponent formation. So this is basically to see where he's most winning and where he's most losing or challenged. So what formations are the ones that are creating more headaches to Manolito 10. Let's see with this table. As you can see on the left, you have the formation opponent, which means the formation that Manolito 10 played against. And on the top, and you can, in the columns, a lot of information. You can see the cumulative shots on target of Manolito 10. These are statistics. When you don't see opponent, it means that this is Manolito 10. So how many shots on target Manolito 10 did against 442 formations? Here we go, 535. How many goals Manolito 10 scored against 442? Here we go, 148. How many goals he took? 73. So this is a ratio of 1.9. The total column means the total times that this happened. So how many times Manolito 10 found a 4-4-2 formation opponent? 69 times. This is important, guys, because as you can see in this black line, I decided that probably this data is significant. It's important to see only above 5 matches. So everything that is below 5 matches, it's less representative. It means that maybe, for instance, here or this one, you can see that Manolito 10 found a 4-4-1-1 formation against. He scored 1 goal, he got 1 goal, so the ratio of scored versus taken is 1. But how representative is this? Can we say that he's struggling? No, because he only played once. So I want to see at least 5 matches before we can observe something. So I just decided 5 matches, and this is the black line. And there you go, what we can see. This is, for instance, the most important column that you have to look is the scored versus taken. This is the ratio of how many goals Manolito 10 scored before taking 1 goal from the opponent formation. So the highest the better, because it means that, for instance, here, look at that. This is striking, guys. This is very important alpha. Manolito 10 best formation, the most performant one, even though he only used it 19 times. Sorry, not used it. He only played against 19 times. He's the 4-3-3. So Manolito 10 is so good. He's very good against the 4-3-3. Why? Because he's going to take 1 goal from you if you're using the 4-3-3 only after he scored 5 almost. It's crazy, guys. But it is data. Look at that. 4.8 scored versus taken ratio. This is very, very high. In fact, you can see it from here. He scored 55 goals against 4-3-3, and he only got 11 goals against the 4-3-3. Mean shots on target 9, basically. Mean goals, on average, he does almost 3 goals per match against 4-3-3, so it's very good against 4-3-3. And on average, the others do 0.6 goals, so not even 1 goal, a half goal. So this is crazy, guys. So don't use 4-3-3 against Manolito 10. You're going to get smashed. We already saw it in the heat map, but this is another way to see it. Another very good formation Manolito 10 is very good at against is a 3-4-2-1 apparently. So this happened 11 times, no sorry, only 7 times. We're still early in the game, so not much data, but this is kind of data that we'll have to have a look at in the later stages of the game. Anyway, only 7 times, but in these 7 times, look at that, the ratio is 2.2, meaning that Manolito 10 scored 2 goals before you can score 1. So it's basically winning. So don't use 3-4-2-1 neither against Manolito 10. What you can use, actually, look at this red one, ratio of 1. It happened 12 times. Manolito 10 against the 3-5-2 struggled, but it's not super struggle, but it struggles. Why? Because he scored 25 goals, he took 24 goals, so the ratio is 1, is 1-to-1. Is of course rounded, it's not exactly 1, but almost 1, which means that on average, on the long term, on average, Manolito 10 score 1 goal and takes another 1. So it's a kind of draw. You're not going to win apparently, but at least you're going to draw against the very top manager. So Manolito 10, I know you're watching, you probably have to get better using the 3-5-2. And also there is the 5-4-1. 5-4-1 is very used as we saw it earlier, and it's only slightly advantageous for Manolito 10. As you can see, the ratio is 1.2, which in the long term, in the long run, it's still positive. It means he wins more, he gets more goals than he scores more goals than what he gets, but in the long term against 5-4-1, which Manolito 10 loves to use, but not really to play against based on this data. So let's have a look at the same data for top 20. Okay, top 20, as you can see, way more formations, so the formation used. And also I raised the bar to 95 matches because if you think about it, we have 19 managers data. So with 19 managers data, if every managers we set a threshold of minimum of 5 match, if you do the math, 5 times 19 managers makes 95 matches cumulative. So I decided to look at this data. You can take a snapshot, have a look at all of that. This is the data. I hope you can see it from the screen. I think you can, and analyze it the way you like. Let me know in the comments if you find something interesting. I'm very interested in seeing what you see, but I decided to put a minimum 95 matches threshold. So what does this mean? It means that the top 20 managers are very good when they play against the 43. Again, we saw it in the heat map, but here we actually see in the data, because the scored versus taken ratio is 3, which means that they score 3 goals before you can score 1, which is again very big. And this is out of a sample of 604 matches, so this is getting a little bit different, this analysis, more representative. So don't use the 4-3 against the top 20 managers. And also what you can use to have a slight advantage to maybe draw or maybe even win, very rarely, is the 4-5-1 formation. So this is only because, as you can see, the ratio is 1.1, which again means that they're going to score 1 goal before they take one goal, which means that on the very long run they're still advantaged. Otherwise they wouldn't be top 20 managers after all, right? But if you were to play against them, if you want to have an edge, you might want to consider 4-5-1 or even the 4-2-3-1 just below. As you can see, same goal scored versus taken. And then if you go down, you can see that there are way less. For instance, 0.8 is way less ratio, which means that based on a sample of, where is it here, total of only 44 matches, so this is very small sample, but based on this very small sample you are statistically more likely to win or to gain points if you use the 5-2-3 formation against this top 20. But it's not really significant. Let's stick to above this black line to see the actual data. So guys, I hope you're learning something here, because this data nobody else can show you unless you do it yourself. But I did it for you. So smash that I cannot say bad words. Smash this freaking like button and subscribe if you like it. This is hard work, guys. Okay, let's go. Next, mentality. What is the mentality? How mentality affects the performances of goal scored versus taken of Manolito 10 and the top 20. Here you go. Very simple table this time. We only have 3 mentality used for Manolito 10, which means that he doesn't use very attacking, very defensive, for instance. And we can see all of the statistics here. Again, the total, say, by the way, all of these are referred to the starting tactics. Of course, you can change formation using situations in Soccerverse. You can change also the mentality in Soccerverse during a fixture, during a match. I didn't take this into account. I'm just looking at the starting formation. I will also work in expanding the analysis with situations. This gives us more data to analyze, but for now this is just for starting formation. Sorry, I should have said it before, but I forgot. Okay, now you know. So looking at the total column here, you can simply see that Manolito 10 tends to start with a normal mentality, not attacking, not defensive. Normally, more 2 to 3 times more often, he starts with a normal mentality. Let's have a look at the mean values, so that are normalized by the time they've been used. So it makes more sense. We can see that with a normal mentality, he has a mean shots on target, mean only 4 shots on target on average, and he scores 1.1 goal on average with normal, and he gets 0.5 goals. So using the normal mentality, this is shots versus goal. This is an interesting column. It tells you how many shots on target on average he has to have in order to score a goal. This tells you a little bit of the intensity of the team in the attacking compartments. As you can see, 3.6 is for normal, 4.2 in defensive, means that you have to shot more before a goal, and 4.2 also for attacking. Similar, very similar. Let's have a look actually column by column. For instance, mean shots on target. Of course, attacking formation gives you more shots on target. As you can see, 4.6 on average, 4.2 defensive, and 4.0 in normal. So starting attacking, Manolito 10 shots more on target. Does he score more? Yes, with attacking formation. Defensive less than attacking, makes sense. And now normal, with a normal formation mentality, he scores on average just as much as attacking. How many goals he takes on average? Using attacking mentality as a starting mentality, he gets half a goal on average, which means he basically gets 1 goal every 2 games that he playing. So that's not bad, actually. That's not bad. But very curiously, as you can see here, he takes actually slightly more goals when he starts with a defensive formation, defensive mentality. This is weird, but it's also, you know, mentality is only one thing, but we will also want to see mentality and formation together. And this is just the next slide, so stick with it, because the next slide we'll have a look at this, but breaking it down into mentality and formation as well. Shots versus goal. Also here it's interesting, even though defensive, look at that, defensive has the same number of shots versus goal than attacking, even though he gets more goals in. So Manolito 10 takes slightly more goals using a defensive, but also scores a little bit more. As you can see, scored versus taken, which again is the same as before. So how many goals he scores before he takes one is slightly higher. Similar. Let's have a look at the top 20 now. Same table, but for the top 20 managers. First, the totals. So the totals attacking. Everyone is attacking a lot. So the top 20 starts with an attacking mentality way more often than a defensive one, as you can see, or a normal one. So this is in contrast with what Manolito 10 does, because look at the totals of Manolito 10. Manolito 10 in reality is always, most of the time it starts with a normal, otherwise defensive, otherwise attacking. Rarely starts with attacking. On the opposite side, we find the top 20, they always start, almost, not always, but most of the time they start with an attacking mentality. Otherwise they start with a normal one and then defensive. And the extremes are rarely used at least at starts. Maybe they use it in the later stage of the game using situations. I can know this. I just didn't analyze it here, but I can know this. I might have to do another video for that. But this is already something interesting to know. How effective these mentalities are for top 20 managers? Well, in terms of shots on target, as you can see, on average, the attacking for mentality for them is the highest shots on target on average, 6.5 shots on target, considerably more than Manolito 10, 4.6. But again, it makes sense. As you can see, more shots on target using attacking than a normal one, than using a defensive. Interesting. Very attacking, starting with a very attacking or very defensive gives very small shots on target. This is probably because they don't keep it until the end. I don't know why this value is it's pretty weird that it's so low. So let's not consider this, because it's weird. It might be a bug in the code or something weird. Goals. Let's have a look at the goals. The goals on average, yes, attacking mentality, it yields a little bit more goals on average, 1.7 goals per match using attacking, 1.6 using normal, and 1.2 using defense. So it all makes sense. The more attacking you are, the more shots and the more goals you do. top 20 managers do at least. But what about the goals taken? Actually, goals taken is attacking and defensive are the same, 0.9. So almost always you get a goal. And the normal one, on average, they take 1 goal. Let's have a look at how efficient the strikers, or the offensive compartment is in terms of shots. How many shots on target they have to do before scoring a goal. As you can see, interesting again, when using a defensive mentality, it looks like they are more effective in terms of goals when using a defensive. Again, I don't know why, but look at that shots versus goal ratio. It's 4.6, is pretty much higher than attacking, which means that using a defensive mentality, sorry, it makes sense. Using a defensive mentality, you need to shoot more in order to score a goal. So what we actually want is a lower value, so that you need less shots on target before scoring a goal. You are more effective, you increase your likelihood of scoring a goal even though you have less shots on target. And this value should definitely be low. We want it to be as low as possible to increase the likelihood of scoring goals, even though we don't shoot a lot on target. And as you can see, the lowest is actually the normal mentality. With the normal mentality, you every 3.7 shoots on target, you score a goal. With defensive, every 4.6 shots on target, you score a goal. And attacking is 3.8, very similar to normal. So this is interesting observation. And then the last one, scored versus taken, how many goals you score. So the top 20 managers score before they take one. Oh, sorry. Okay, I just noticed that there is a small error here. So these columns are in reality are not scored versus taken, but are taken versus scored, which means that we are looking at how many goals the top 20 took before scoring one, depending on the mentality. So 0.5, forget about scored versus taken, because it's taken versus scored. So the best is the lowest. It has to be the lowest here. It's different than the other one, when the other statistics now, because I inverted the calculation. I know it's a bit confusing, I'm sorry about that, I just noticed it, but rather than doing another calculation, I just explain. So this is the opposite. It means that if this value is low, like for instance, using an attacking mentality is 0.5, it means that top 20 managers take half a goal in before doing one, which means that in 2 matches they get 1 goal, they take 1 goal, but they do 2 goals. So it's better, because this 0.5 point is better. So this has to be low. Unfortunately, as you can see, it's weird, because with using a defensive mentality, this value is higher, which means they take more goal before doing one using a defensive mentality. This is a little bit counterintuitive. I really don't know why this is the case, but it's probably again just an artifact of the fact that we are looking at very broad statistics rather than breakdowns. Like, mentality is one thing, but then what about the formation that you use? What about the players that you use and the situations? These are more variables that we can also analyze, and I will analyze in the future, but just not now in this case and in this video. Okay, let's go. Here we go. So this is a very big, this is a table that I wanted to leave you here so that you can have a look and take a snapshot and analyze it yourself, because it's very big to analyze. But what is this showing is basically what we saw before with the mentality, but with an added variable, which is the formation used. Not played against, but used. Basically, I want to know how many shots on target, how many goals I took, the mean shots on target, the mean goals that my opponent did to me. So how many goals on average I take using specific formation and the mentality combinations. So this is already an advanced breakdown of the analysis that we can do for every single manager and also for the top 20. Again, remember that for taken versus scored column is actually, it's that how many goals people take. So Manolito 10 takes before scoring 1 goal. So in this case, the lowest, the better, of course. And as you can see, what we can briefly have a look at here, always consider the total. So how many times? If we look at a 3-2-2-2-2-1 combined with a defensive mentality, Manolito 10 used it 22 times, this specific combination. He scored 52 goals and he got 27 goals, which basically means on average that he scored 2.4 and he got 1.2 goals on average per match. This means that the taken versus scored ratio is rounded up to 0.5. So he got half a goal every goal that he scored using this, and it's good. It's very good. It's not the lowest value that you can find, but for instance here there is a 0.2, but it only happened once, so it's not very representative. Another is 0.5, but it happened 6. Let's have a look at the ones that happened more often. So the one that we just found, 3-2-2-2-1 defensive, happened 22 times. The second most often used is this one, 4-3-3 wingers with a starting normal mentality, and the ratio is the same, 0.5. So very effective. Another one that happened the most often 16 times, or 17. This is better. 17 times is a 3-4-2-1 normal mentality. 17 times, the ratio is even better, guys, 0.3. So by looking at these data, we can say that Manolito 10, over the 3 seasons that he played so far Soccerverse, the most effective combination of formation and mentality, starting formation and starting mentality, is in terms of goals scored versus goals taken. So basically it's very important, is this 3-4-2-1 formation with a mentality, normal mentality. This is very important alpha and intelligence that everyone can get if they know how to do, of course. And I know. Okay, another one. What's the worst? The worst, we have to find someone that happened often, and the taken to scored ratio is highest. Here we go, 0.7, 13 times with a 0.7. Oh, by the way, also 5-4-1 normal is 0.2, is very low. So this one is also one of the top performance for Manolito 10. One of the least performant is in fact 5-4-1, so the same formation but starting with a defensive mentality. Look at that, 0.7. This is one of the highest. Here we find a 0.9 even. No, wait, this is even worse. There is higher, but only happened twice, so it's not really representative, but this is pretty good. This is pretty representative. Manolito 10 used 12 times the 4-4-1-1 formation with a normal mentality, and the score to ratio is, the taken versus scored ratio is 0.9. It's pretty high. So this is one weakness of Manolito 10. Better not using this Manolito 10. And regard the top 20 is way too long, way too much data. Very interesting, but again, I'll leave it to you because this video is super long. It's too long, so it's better to cut it off. And hopefully you gained enough information so far to understand the potential. And I'll scroll it. This is one page, same analysis, formation, mentality combination used by the top 20 managers, so you can see the ratio taken versus scored ratio, very important, and also all the other statistics. This is the second page, and this is the third page. But roughly, let's have a look at very roughly, quickly together. The most used combination is 185. Of course, 4-4-2 attacking. Of course, why? It's not surprising, right? The most used formation and mentality combination is 4-4-2 attacking. How well does it go? Well, on average, it yields pretty high mean shots on target. As you can see, 8.1 shots on target on average. 2.2 goals on average. It is pretty high by the top 20, good job, and only got 0.9 goals on average for a 3.7 shots on target versus goal ratio and a 0.4 goals taken versus scored ratio. 0.4 is good. It's pretty good. Let's have a look if you find the worst. This is very bad. I really see something very bad. Yes, the worst combination possible for the best. So the top 20 managers, guys, this is also very important because it gives you an edge how to win against this top 20. If you see that they're using this combination, look at that, 4-3-3 attacking, the goal taken versus scored is 1.4, which means that they take more goal in than what they can make. So this is very important. If you are one of the top 20 managers, probably be careful when you use this combination, because it doesn't look like it's very effective. And it's also supported by volume, like we like to say in crypto, is supported by volume. Look at that, 244 times happened this combination. So it's not 1211 of the 442 attacking, but it still is one of the most occurring ones, so is significant. You see the second one, the second worst is also this 352 attacking, 295 times happened, for a ratio of taken versus scored goals 0.8, very high. So this is very insightful information. Top 20 managers, stop using the 352 attacking from the beginning, because it looks like it's not going very well. Okay, finished guys. The last slide is the potential. Future potential. I hope that you enjoyed looking at the data. I know it's a long video, I know it's a lot of tables, a lot of data, I know, but look, think about the potential that fully on-chain games, fully open source games like Soccerverse have. With Soccerverse, I show you that I can get all the information of all the managers and the tactics and the results of their tactical choices over the 3 seasons. Imagine when you have 10 seasons and thousands of players. Well, these are potentials that I can think of for managers. You could get in-depth live intelligence for precision management, which means that we can monitor the blockchain for rival team sheet submission events. So I can see when you submitted your team sheet on the blockchain, so I can go and fetch your tactic, so which means obtain rich data about the rival strategy, and then I can use AI to create a kind of very good and strong suggestion, tactical suggestion for me based on your team sheet and your history. Very powerful suggestion for managers to have that small edge that might give you like the tiny edge that can make you the next Manolito 10 rather than a top 20 manager or below 20. Another interesting stuff is for shareholders. This thing can create accurate manager performances reporting and monitoring opportunities, which means that I can look at individual financial and technical assessments of every single manager and every single shareholders also, but we are interested in managers, right? If you're a shareholder, you want to invest in managers, you want to know how good they are financially and tactically. So this allows you that. Soccerverse will allow you to do that, and people will create platforms to do that, I'm sure. Also, you can prospect for emerging managers with leading indicators. You can look at the history and the statistics of every single manager like we did for Manolito 10, very in-depth, to gain knowledge about the potential of the specific manager to be successful in the future, creating indicators. Why not? If you have more ideas, let me know in the comments below. Let me know what you would like to see. This video was long, it's data driven, it might be heavy, but packed with information, and I hope you liked it. Reshare and like this video because it was a lot of work. And here we go guys, I hope you enjoyed it and you understood the potential that these fully on-chain games like Soccerverse have. If you like the video, don't forget to like and subscribe and comment, all of this good stuff that YouTube needs to pump the videos like this one. And also we also need, as a Xaya community, we are still small, still undercover, but if you can smash the like and share it, just spread the word, we're about to come out, of course. If you like also this type of video, this more analytical video, just come, let me know in the comments and I'll make a few extra ones for you. And also if you have other questions that you want to answer in this way, data driven questions, also let me know and I'll see what I can do. Ciao.